Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nova Tournament. It's Playoffs 2 now, where we get to see yet again two of the top teams of the winners bracket verse off against each other. But just as always, I am Elijah Hartz, and today I am joined with Tiaki. How are we doing, Tiaki?
What's going on, my man? How are you doing on this fine evening? And as Elijah, you've already said, welcome back. Tonight's going to be a very interesting match. I mean, we got Bandits versus Panic, Elijah. Can you imagine that?
I'm just as excited as I bet that a lot of us are. Two very fundamental teams versing off against each other to secure themselves a higher spot, a higher standing in the leaderboard, and potentially making their way to the finals. Now, we've got a lot of predictions from all of us, and I'm sure the chat has their own as well, but let's skip to our own little predictions that we've got. We've got a good little mix for us, and by looks of it, we're on the same little wavelength here. The rest of us, other than Kratos, because he gets it as well, but majority of us seem to think that Panic is going to take this win, a 2-1. Now, it is a BO3, so luckily we might get to see that third map, which is what all of us are guessing, other than Ling.
Yeah, well, KJ and Ling, I don't know what wavelength they've decided to go on, but they've decided to go on something completely different compared to us, which I think we've got a little bit more backing inside of Panic. We've been watching their first opening few weeks, and especially you have been casting them, Elijah, and they were absolutely insane in their ability to just run over people. They could just easily take control of a match and just run it straight through. Then on the opposite end, to the end of the season, Bandits started showing up. They started proving that they had full control of the situation and just started to dumpster some of the teams. But then again, it all comes down to this match. We've seen Panic and Bandits versus each other previously. It wasn't too great. I believe Bandits ended up winning over Panic. It was a close match. I think it was 7-4 or 7-5.
Was it a 7-0? I believe at one point a team had 7-0'd Panic on Oregon because they counter-stratted them. It was Trident, that's what it was. It was Trident. But, you know, I gotta agree with you, probably a 7-4 as well. But a little bit of an interesting behind-the-scenes things that I picked up before on the social media for both of these teams is because Bandits did beat Panic last time, they had a little bit of a cheeky response on their Twitter, and they said, are you ready for a repeat of last time? So a little bit of an insight for Bandits thinking that they're going to do that again and take a win here.
Well, the scary side of the coin is that was the second match that Bandits had gone up. Actually, no, I take it back. That was their first match going up against them. But every other team that Panic had versed throughout the comp was absolutely dumpstered. So I am going to find today is going to be the game where it is very interesting. Panic will definitely have searched up and gotten ready and done all their VOD reviews for this game, especially after the way that they approached Bandits last time. Bandits as well, we know them. They don't really go over a lot of their VODs. They're kind of just free ballers, mechanically really good, and that's the way that they prefer to play. So it's going to be a very interesting set of matches this evening. But moving into the map veto for this evening, obviously we've got some amazing maps for you today to play on as we look at the bans. So Bandit's going to be coming in with the first ban on Cafe, Panic ban on Clubhouse, ban on a theme park for Bandits, Border going to be banned off. And our first match this evening, Elijah, we're going to be jumping on to Chalet.
I'm liking that. Starting off on the cozy cabin of Chalet. Bandits pick as well. Now, I'm liking that. You know, Chalet being our very first map, I gotta say, really good for a frag-heavy map. You know, mechanically gifted players, that's their zone to be in as well. Moving on to our second map, Villa. Panic's pick as well, and from what I've seen, I believe Panic have a really strong backing there, and hopefully, if we do make it to a third map, Oregon, where we've seen Panic shine as well, but they've been there so many times in this season that hopefully Bandits didn't come prepared and ready to kind of strat them all together.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know Bandits. We've seen them play on Chalet. They are exceptionally good when it comes down to that map control, especially for those sites. Again, it's one of those sites where they don't like to pick upstairs master bedroom. They prefer to go downstairs. They prefer to take the basement. They prefer to take the first floor bar and gaming and first floor kitchen. And that's normally where they like to go. Now, on the next next map, I believe it was Villa. That is Panic's home ground. They absolutely love that map, and that's because Spawn Peak Central. So they love absolutely playing on that. And the final map, obviously being Oregon, it's 50-50. But as we say that, let us take you over to the frozen Alps, known as Chalet. Beautiful, beautiful frozen Alps, and definitely an attacker-heavy map.
Beautiful scenery to have a look at as we watch two of the top teams battle it out as we move into our very first round, where we get to see them pick bans come underway now. Tiaki, what are we thinking like that the bans are going to be?
Well, you ready for me to rapid fire some off?
Hit them.
Here we go. Dokkaebi, Knock, Soulless, Mirror. That's your normal set of bans that come through. So I wonder which ones are going to come through first. Flores, you know what?
Flores.
I'm wrong. Take me off of it.
You know, I do like the Flores pick though, especially we've seen time and time again when teams do prefer to run that bar gaming, and you've always got that deployable shield that sits up on top of those blue stairs. As majority of the default sort of way to push it if you are an attacker is from piano across, you need to deal with those deployable shields that are on top of Mezbak, on top of the blue stairs, and having Flores up, it really makes it hard for you to defend. So getting rid of him is definitely going to help you. Knock to follow up as the second attacker ban, so getting rid of that lurk potential makes it a lot easier for you to not really worry about the phantom pressure that she brings from potentially sneaking up to your behind.
Well, I got two right so far, at least. I got the Knock ban and the Soulless ban. Soulless being one of those operators that is just an intel-denying operator. It immediately goes searching at the beginning of a round, searches for all the drones inside of the actual map, and we'll just take them out one by one by one. Kaid coming in as the final ban, so Panic going completely askew to what I normally expect their bans to be, and it's going to be a very, very weird set from them as the Kaid will come into play. So it looks like they're trying to get a lot of that utility of just electrifying 3-2 walls with his Kaid charge off the board, nice and easy. First floor bar, first floor gaming will be the first point of call. So we expect a basic sort of setup. We expect an extension all the way upstairs, some sort of hold upstairs as well. One of the greatest placements for a lot of these teams is up in towards mezzanine. If they can set up a bit of utility up there and set up a reinforcement, they can kind of cut off any sort of push from Bandits to really take that control and really stop them from pushing anywhere. And the only real place that you can make an aggression onto that is by getting a cheeky peek angle or pushing straight into Fireplace, which I'm sure they'll have members covering there. Now we're seeing Universe. It looks like he's going to be going possibly for a bit of a spawn peek angle, or he may be just waiting to see if someone will decide to jump in Trophy. But there you're seeing it right then and there with the setup from Lilith, who's actually going to, looks like he's going to be the one planning to play inside of that good old library and mezzanine.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
A little bit of a split push to begin us off with. Looks like they're sort of just spreading their wings to see if they can catch one of these potential lurking players on Panic. Maybe waiting for them to make a mistake so they can capitalize on that and make an entry. Now it looks like they're focusing their main objective on Piano and Mezzanine first, as MML utilizes one of his fake clones to get rid of those Aruni gates. You know, you don't want to have to deal with that later. Good usage of utility as you've got the drones as well, and you realize that they are playing a top down. You can't jump through those double windows unless you're willing to sacrifice at least a lot of HP or get yourself in a wrong-sided engagement as you jump through those middles. And look how strongly they are holding this mezzanine. They've got all of these keeper barriers for support as well, the deployable shield, the ADS is there to catch any of those potential frag grenades. They're bunkering down.
Well, no real push to come through yet. We are going to see an EMP grenade go off, so that will remove Nuki's position just a little bit. He'll chuck a 1 out just to cut off any sort of push potential, any sort of angle for them to actually chuck in a few nades and maybe push him even more off of his position. Lilith looking to see if he can spot someone down, but ACOG, I said about this position, it is such a powerful position to be in. There is no real angles that you can peek from, but Drift will be the first one to find the kill as Nuki's taken off the board. And it looks like we're coming down to the last minute and 15 seconds, Elijah. It's about to get hairy.
Oh yes, things are starting to get dicey and the pressure is rising. MML has found himself in, but a quick trade by both Bandits and Panic as 2 members fall. Down to a 4v3 now as they're trying to make a reset on their defense, but the live droning is just adding a lot of pressure to Laeth at the moment. And you can see them all rotating themselves towards that gaming entrance because they need to get their diffuser working. Now they've got 49 seconds left to do so, so the 3 members still left on Panic, they have all the time to work with to just add this phantom pressure and deny them from getting this plant. Flash is going to enter. Wizard is ready for the pickup and he finds the very first pick immediately onto Lonely. Tries to go for the second, but it's not enough and he finds himself down in the process, but the HP is just being peppered all across for Bandits, and a 2 on the side for Panic will leave it to a 1v3. JPK needs to clutch it out. He's feeling a bit wary. There is 1 down and he knows it. He finds the second pick. Only 1 more left for him to pick up, and he's on the double. 14 seconds left. You need to get the diffuser down, but it looks like that Universe is playing their passive game. Gonna wait for him to chuck that diffuser down, and is ticking away. He's gonna be able to get it off successfully as he is in the best position to do so. Nomad is gonna give away his position. The Lion Scan's gonna stop him in his tracks, and he needs to find the angles and fight back.
Well, the immediate play here is to move upstairs. JPK is just going to be sitting on this hatch and waiting for Universe to try and cut off all the angles that he possibly can. But he needs to clear upstairs and he's not even going to be able to. Still full Lion charges available for JPK. He's already used 2. You can hear the diffuser being tapped. Will clear the angle, and that is Universe being taken off the board as Bandits will find their first round. And what a amazing play from Bandits there, coming in last second, and it's all down to JPK's amazing idea structure and the way that he was thinking during that last few moments. No hesitation, no problems, absolutely brilliant play style, and you could see he was just looking for that 1 more kill onto Loyalith. If Loyalith got caught out there, he was basically gone. He was done. That was it, and he did get caught out. Plant able to get down. I think Universe being too far back from the main site kind of caused them to lose that ground a little bit too much. Yeah, I think he was hoping that they would try to plant in the closer site, expecting him to be somewhere upstairs. But as soon as that air jab went off, that was it. It was over. JPK immediately knew the position, and Bandits find their first.
It's a really good testament to the both of the play styles for these teams. It looks like they're both struggling. You know, it's not just one team completely walking through and just getting free picks. There's so much denial, there's so many refrags and things that you can tell that both of these teams, they're feeling the pressure. They don't want to throw their lives away, but they have to get something going. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you'll have no time left. And that's sort of what we saw happen just there. And I'm excited to see how the next round will unfold, because Panic, they need to make a little bit of a comeback now as they're on the back foot. 1-0 at the moment. Bandits have that advantage of being on the attack, which they so love. And I think, from what I've seen from Bandits, they really do favor that attack side.
Well, with the mechanically gifted Bandits, it's kind of expected that they would be favoring that sort of side. They're not the team that operate so significantly off teamwork, but they are the team that really operates off just the play styles that they play with, and it shows you right there. Nuki is going to be taken down by a nade coming in from MML, but ACOG removed off the board once again, and I believe that was from Drift, who's able to confirm the kill as well onto Nuki. So already Panic are on a worse back foot than they started with, Elijah, and it's just looking like absolute hell for them.
It's all just falling apart. You can just tell Bandits have come prepared. You know, they're fluid. They know exactly what they're doing, and their timing and teamwork and communication, when you put it all together, it's just such a force to be reckoned with. Universe is going to bring it back with a lovely 2-piece as well, bringing it down to an even 3-3 as he rotates himself back through the kitchen hatch so he can reset his defense with the rest of his team. Now, library control has been forfeited, so they do have the advantage of having that top-down control as the rest of them have rotated back through that bar stock area where they can hold and just wait for it to come together. Now they've got a minute left for them to make something work, make the best, maybe something out of nothing. They've got a good set amount of util for it. The 3 flashes, no grenades left, but the X-Kairos is still able to work up as well. Now it looks like they're setting again for another little default, pushing through the gaming double window to see if they can get a plant behind the half wall. But again, Wizard has set himself up for a position for it. Loyalth to find the very first pick onto Drift and take it out to a 2v3. MML and Lonely need to pull it back if they hope on winning a round second time in a row. Flashes to go through the double doors. Loyalth with another swing, but nothing to connect just yet. Lonely's going to go through and immediately get picked up by Wizard, and MML is stuck on top of the blue stairs. The vault and the sound of him shooting is going to give away his position. The yellow pings are going out to try to help MML to see where the last 2 players are, but I don't think that he is aware of the player who is on the bottom of blue. A little bit of an angle to go out, and a nice shot as well. It looks like he knows where the players are as well. Goes for the second. Brilliant. It's not enough. Universe will collect it up and peg us back to a 1-1.
And I mean, you can see it right there. Panic. Even with the last round, they struggled. They were down members in their last round. They still were able to get it to a 1-3. They had the control. This is the teamwork that I'm talking about from Panic. They know each of their members. They know exactly how they need to play around with each other. The changes of adding in Loyalith today as well, seeming to just... It just works. There's no issues, no problems, no anything. It just works with having all of those members in. So right now we're seeing the Panic that we wanted to see come out today. The teamwork is brilliant. They're playing exceptionally well, and we love to see it from them. No smiles and no too much having fun there from Nuki today. It looks like he's come out with a very serious sort of attribute and serious sort of mindset as well. So that's what we love to see. Now, on the side of Bandits, that was the second round that they had troubles trying to actually get into that site. I mean, it was 3-1 the last round before. Yes, one was down, but Panic in their last round that they were able to win, it was 3-1 again. MML being the final member up and moving on the side of Bandits. And I just don't know how you're expected to push this side if you're going to continue to get those sort of 3-on-1s. What does that mean for the rest of these sites? That site is not terribly difficult to hold, but especially now that the mirror has been brought out, it's going to start getting a little bit dicey.
They've just got so many things that they need to deal with. The Keeper barrier is just adding more pressure and more util dumpage that they need to push before they enter and try to clear out library. Now, they've dedicated 2 members to hold down library specifically, and all of the members of Bandits, they haven't really done a split push. You know, they've got that one player who's gone to the K9 bulk, but nothing really to help Sandwich. So it looks like they've got the frag grenades coming through, which is successful, and he gets the down in the process. The ADS not catching a single thing, and he's got library control already. JPK finding the kill onto Loyalith. He's going to quickly be removed, and it's just falling apart. Tiaki, what's going on?
Oh, Panic! They've just lost control completely. I don't know what has happened. Every angle that they have been aggressing has just been lost in a matter of seconds. And right now, we can see immediately Lonely. He's looking to open up this wall. They've got someone K9. They need to make the peak. And that is it. Flawless round in from Bandits. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say, Elijah. That was just... It fell apart in a matter of seconds.
Man, like, I liked the approach that Panic took. It looked like that they were trying to cook up something new, you know, utilize Mirror in sort of a different way that we don't normally get to see teams use her. And it didn't really work out for them. For some reason, the ADSs weren't catching the grenades, and Universe fell to that. Downstairs, there was another engagement that he just wasn't ready for, and just falling left and right and center. And in the end, Bandits, they were able to utilize their knowledge on the spread that they had, and they just completely exploded and caught them off guard. So with that, they're going to have to try out a different site downstairs this time, which usually Panic don't really opt for.
Well, Elijah, I have one thing to say to you just quickly. We're talking about new things. Look who's made his sneaky way through. Fenra has decided to join us for this tonight's match. Loyalith has decided to bring out the dreaded operator with the dread mines, as well as the FNART mines, whichever way you like to call them. So he will be available and be used in play. As we can see, Loyalith getting the last bit of setup here. Really good use of these mines because they can actually indicate exactly where players are coming from, and it allows for Panic to just set up nice and easily to get a lot of intel, really, from where the push is going to come from. Now, Bandits, it looks like they're setting up for some people outside of this main wall, as we can see the waiting arms of Drift, as it looks like he wants to just get this wall open so he can start using his Glaz to the best of the ability. MML, weirdly, is using the Amaru, so it looks like he's just going to be clearing up top floor as much as he possibly can, gain as much info as he possibly can. Now, 3 members are going to be outside, and interestingly as well, Sen's being brought. Now, we've seen some amazing Sen players coming in from the side of Bandits. Do you think they will be using it just to try and get a plant down?
They definitely could be trying to get that direct. You know, not only do they have the smokes that Glaz brings as well, but they got 2 in the pockets of Thermite, and obviously the ones that Sense brings. They've got the Glaz to help look through those smokes to see if you can find a pick, which we're about to see unfold. Now, Nuki is holding the fireplace stairs, and he's ready to take an engagement if so need be. But against the Glaz, it is not a force to be reckoned with. He will be able to clean you up without a second thought, so you need to be a little bit careful of that. Thankfully, you have the Black Mirror to help and support you with that, but it's looking real dicey. MML with a nice little lurk to clean up Wizard, remove him from the play. That was your lurking Roma, and the plant's going down. Sense is taking in effect, but he's going to be removed. Universe finding to pick onto that and take it down to an even 4-4, but in the process, MML will find himself down, so even less so as we move to a 3v4, and looks like they're slowing down, Tiaki. They're backing up.
Look how much utility has actually just already been lost. Yes, that's another Panic member taken down, but there's MML being traded back, and that's all the utility that they could have possibly used to get that plant down. It's been completely removed. Universe makes an amazing pick, and now Eraser, he's trying to get the work back in for his team. They need to clear up these angles with 30 seconds. They need to find Universe and find ACOG, but they are prepped for this main wall take, and ACOG is now going to fall back, expecting someone to come down. Blue will spot him out. It is going to be JPK, but it's up to Universe to pick off Eraser. JPK needs to find this kill on the ACOG, but ACOG will find it. Universe will find Eraser. It's all down to Drift. 10 seconds remaining, and Universe with a triple kill will pick it all up and continue it on.
Loving the playstyles there, and what we thought was swinging in the way of Bandits' favor, the amount of util dumpage that they had just blaring into the side. We all thought, damn, Bandits have this in the bag. You know, they've got the Glaz, they've got all these smokes, they're just throwing in util. They had a Razor upstairs on the lurk to just add even more fainter pressure for somebody trying to make a vertical play or rotating, but it was just a kill box all along, and it was an illusion, a facade set up by Panic to think that it was safe for them to enter, and in the end they just completely sandwiched them, took advantage of it, and luckily they take themselves back to an even 2-2. So back to anybody's game and anybody's guess.
Absolutely right there, Elijah. Now, in this sort of playstyle and in this sort of setup, well, look at that. That's going to be cutting off so many angles for drones to try and figure out. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that device is called. Correct me if I'm wrong, Elijah. It's an observation blocker. I was about to just say blocker, my friend. So, in that situation and in its setup and preparation for this entirety, it looks like those are going to be used quite often just to cut off as much drone presence as possible. They need to hide a lot of their setup, and we can start to see Bandits coming in. Now, quickly with that last round, the 2 thermites being used on the same wall, I don't think that helped Bandits at all, because it kind of initiated the exact position that they were planning to push. Providing that info out just stuck them to basically only push that specific way. The send charges going off kind of cut off one angle as well. So a little bit of misplays coming in there from Bandits, but now we'll start to see a different sort of play style coming from them. This is a site they've already attacked. Panic should know it by now, and we hope that Bandits will adapt their playstyle for it.
Well, you could imagine that Panic, they've got some adaptation to do as well, because they now have a little bit of information on how Bandits are going to attack. Now, that'll help them a lot in terms of holding this out. Hopefully they don't lose too many members early on. You can see MML! Ah, man! What a shot to remove ACOG, taking him out. His keeper barriers are already down, but there's nobody there holding Mez anymore. You've cleared up that position. Your next person to clear out on the checklist will be Loyalith, and he's still remaining on top of these blue stairs. Now, he is accompanied by the ADSs as well, so frag grenades, they won't be able to work. You're going to have to rely solely on the mechanical skill behind the guns and the scopes that you bring, but the red pings and the informations are being shared, and MML is going to find a second kill, but to quick work it back though, Loyalith will find their first.
And what an amazing play coming in from MML, just having the control and having the ability with his own two hands to get that amazing pick. And straight off the bat, plant is going to be attempted, or it's going to be at least set down, as Nuki will be caught off guard. His position known nice and easily to the rest of the team members, as now Daddy will, well, Lonely I should say, will start to make a plant down. Drift's already got it covered off. There's too many members for the side of Bandits, and the plant will be attempted. Panic, you're in a world of hurt, but Universe, can you bring it back for us?
Finds one in the process, goes for the second, he'll find it, but not if JPK has anything to say about it. He'll shut you down and secure his team the round, but it was a due effort. My oh my. It was close, I gotta say. We got to see some lovely picks come out, but my god, these teams, they're really bringing it out now. Looks like we might be going for a rehost. Maybe there's just a little bit of an issue coming out. So we're gonna head back up, and we can talk about the rounds that we've seen so far, with them leading on a 3-2. It is at the moment. Bandits having that upper hand of having that round advantage. Now, what are we thinking so far?
I just don't know what to say. We're seeing the best of both teams coming out here. The teamwork and the play styles coming in from Panic, and then on the opposite end, the mechanically gifted skill and just the incredibility of Bandits. They're just so well in control, and just have both teams have the ability to really run through this tournament as much as they need and as much as they want to. The problem is, I think what we're seeing with both is when they start getting warmed up, that's when we're going to start seeing these key players starting to come out. Nuki hasn't really been showing us too much yet on his side. MML has just started to get warm, and you can see that with the picks that he's making and with the playstyle that he's really coming in there. He's once again going aggressive, and he's finding these just incredible one-tap headshots. I mean, you can't say more than that. My head was boggled after that shot. But in terms of the playstyles that we currently see, I expect this to go to a 3-3, I'd say. Maybe. It feels like it's going to go to a 3-3.
I got to agree, because we got to remember as well, like, yes, maybe both of these teams have warmed up, but it is that first round jitters that always come into play, and Chalet isn't the most comfortable map, at least not of the ones that we've picked so far. With Villa and Oregon are the two maps to follow as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing both of these teams move to maps that we know that they are more comfortable on. And given that, when you are in a comfortable space, you can completely spread your wings and just let yourself fly. You know, when you're in a comfortable environment, that is where you perform the best. So I'm definitely looking forward to both of these teams taking us a full distance and giving us a really long ride of a competitive game of Siege.
Yeah, well, what else can we really say about this so far? This, surprisingly as well, Elijah, this is actually Bandits' map, and they seem to be struggling on having the full control of it. Like, this is their site, and already Panic is starting to show up saying, hold on a second, it might not be your map and your sites. You just wait for us to warm up. Just wait for us to actually start playing on it and see how we go. But in terms of this whole playstyle and ability that we've seen so far, the control is definitely down to the team that feels the most confident coming in there, as we could see in the first round that was taken by Bandits and the third round that was taken by Bandits. Fourth round that was taken by Bandits. They are just, when they have the confidence to make those pushes, to start just running through and start playing well, then they can just absolutely run over the team. But if they don't, it looks like it's Panic's round on every single side of the coin.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
You can tell, as of yesterday, every single team that we've seen so far is showing up to the best of their ability, and that's due to the playoffs just adding so much pressure. You know, the teams, they're starting to feel it, and they're putting on a show for us. Now, yesterday, we got to see the teams give us a huge tug-of-war battle, and I feel like that is reigning true yet again into a second game. Two different teams, but still the same narrative, where it's a chess game of just back and forth behavior. You know, one side, Bandits, maybe they'll take a win, but Panic, they always have a response. So if we are continuing on that narrative, you gotta think that this is Panic's round. You know, they gotta have it in the bag if they hope on taking it to a 3-3 split, which, like we always say, is the best scenario you can ask for in this sort of case specifically. You know, you can always want a higher for your team, but when you set it back to a 3-3, that's anybody's game from there. You can do a complete reset on both your mental play styles, switch everything up, and completely catch them off guard, which I'm hoping that these teams can do, but we're going to have to see that unfold in this round specifically, as they are trying to take the library first. Now, they're going to be combated up against Universe, who is holding this mez, making sure that nobody gets control. He's got the mirror again, and he's got the Keeper barriers for support. Now, last time, it didn't work out well for him at all. He didn't have any ADSs to catch the grenades. He ended up getting fought off his position, and it just gave so much control really early on to the side of Bandits. So maybe they don't make that repetition.
Well, it looks like the setup is starting to come through. Drift just waiting on that Thatcher charge to go in, and I think MML may be looking to just push straight up onto Universe's position, but he is going to be more weary of that playstyle. As we saw last time, the push just came straight through. The flashbangs are going to go straight in. He's going to pick the opposite angle, expecting the flashbangs to come through there as well. MML is able to make his way through, but Wizard, he's going to come back up his teammate. JPK is going to be taken off the board, as Drift will be able to find the kill onto Loyalith. Now, the peak will go back and forth. Universe and MML, two of the greatest mechanical players, just going back and forth as Universe now. He'll start to make his way down. Needs to be careful of Eraser, who will spot him out. That is going to be mezzanine control given up, as now MML can make his way up and maybe even find the exact position of someone inside a piano. But the only person there to really counter any sort of push from here on is going to be Nuki. And with a minute remaining, Elijah, the push is going to have to start speeding up.
He's been droned out. They are completely aware of his position, and like you said, he's the only one here ready to counter. But if there's anybody you want to be in this position, it is Nuki himself. We've seen him pull off completely amazing things before, and it's what he is going to be looking to do us again. But look at the positions from Bandits. They've got the main window as well. Wizard's ready to contest that, but nothing to come out of it. He's rotated himself back behind the master, but the bedroom as well. Now, a little bit of a split push. Lonely is going to get that plant down. He is their support, but quickly Drift is going to hit a nice shot onto Nuki and shut him down and take it down to a 4v2. The double window rappel is still up as well. Need to be careful of that. And quickly and swiftly, Bandits will chew through Panic and end up the round.
And I mean, you can just see it from there. Once they get the diffuser down, as we saw in the actual MSI statistics, they had a 57% chance of winning the round once they got the diffuser down. So it goes extremely higher with their sort of playstyle and with their ability, especially when you can get Bandits in a position to just watch angles. They will not lose when they're just watching angles. And so getting that plant down means that their members can just set up for any sort of potential pushes and potential playstyles that they are really going to be opting on and opting off from both of these teams. Now, obviously, we're getting into the switch up, so now we'll start to see a different sort of playstyle coming in from these two teams. Obviously, Panic will now be on the attacking, so they are going to need to be in more preparation, in more setup, in more IGL capabilities, and they will need to try and see if they can really make a push in towards these sites. Now, on the opposite end, obviously Bandits, they can just completely lock down these sites. They can set people on angles. They can have a set strategy. But as we know from Bandits, they like to play around with those strategies and don't really like to sit in one little angle the entire time. Now, immediately, the new operator being brought into play. He'll bring something new as we see a little bit of damage being dealt onto Lolith.
That was by his teammate as well. It was unfortunate to start off into the round, yeah. I mean, it's not the best case to ask for, but I mean, it definitely helps Bandits already as they still remain on full HP. Now, they are trying to do a little bit of a top clear, gaining across, maybe getting control of Solar, but look at the roaming potential that is already being laid upon us. Bandits, with their aggressive playstyles, Panic are going to need to face into that. And Universe already making his way into Master Bedroom from the double repel. Nuki is there for his support, and live droning is giving away the positions from MML. He's remained up on top of the blue stairs, so they're going to have to make work of the intel that they have, as nothing has gone out just yet. Still a minute 55 though. They've got a lot of time left.
Oh, Lolith, he'll look to jump over and maybe try and see if he can spot out someone inside of the kitchen area here, and Drift being the only member that is really in that position in preparation there, as the drones will start to come through and provide him a little bit of info. He can just fall off and fall back, and that is actually quite a big bit of movement there. If they can get Drift off that hatch, it cuts off two angles that they could be watching for this back area take. However, it looks like he's pushed in to the backside garage. Universe will start pushing over, trying to see if he can find something else, as ACOG will look to jump in. But with 70 seconds remaining, Elijah, it looks like Panic, they're still on the back foot. They need to start rushing here.
Bandits doing a really good job at looking like they're completely extended and playing their lives upstairs, wasting so much time. Panic not really doing anything and utilizing the first couple seconds of the round, but first kill to go out though, Lonely will be able to connect onto Leoth. Now that was your Sledge, removing that soft breeze capability that he has. Nuki will trade it back though by removing Drift from play, and Wizard has control of the big garage, and he's going to utilize those X-Kairos to see if he can open up some avenues to get their plant going. Now there's only 36 seconds left to do so, 30 now, as Universe is going to make his way down to the bottom blue. He's got the Dokkaebi DMR, which packs a punch, but look at Fenrir just coming into play as 2 kills go across the board for Panic, and they put Bandits in such a dire situation with only Eraser and JPK left to pull it back. He's going to fight over blue, and he'll win his engagement and take it down to a 2v3. Eraser rotating through Connector to see if he can combat the players who are trying to get the default plant down, and Nuki will hit it successfully along with ACOG, and they'll take themselves around and get themselves one step closer to that even score count.
And all of that does not work if Universe is not able to find that pick, that initial pick that he found to put him on the map and make Bandits scared of that playstyle. Huge plays by him, and we've got to give it up. That was absolutely beautiful from Panic. And again, we're seeing the teamwork coming into play for them. They are well in control when it comes to their attacking sides. They can just play it a little bit slower, but still have that ability to run the control as much as they possibly can. Now, on the side of Bandits, there was just a few misplays there. A few angles weren't being watched. A few positions were just waiting for the Fenrir to actually go off, but by the time that the Fenrir was going to go off, it was just going to give away way too much information. And I mean, they would have already pushed up all the way into blue there, which doesn't really help them out too much. It's not an instant thing, so they can still hold the angle for just a little bit longer. Now, immediately going into bar and gaming, once again, expecting that mezzanine player, expecting that blue player to be in those positions. Two roaming players, JPK even looking for a possible spawn pick here, but with the Solus coming into play, or the Solarium I should say, coming into play, Drift, he's going to be ready for it.
Don't do it to him, Drift. Don't do it. The C4 is going to be tossed. It will not connect, though. I did like the ambition behind it. But he's going to be stuck on top of the Solarium stairs, and he'll immediately be picked up as Loyalist is ready to get the very first blood in the round. And that'll swing it really swiftly in the advantage of Panic, as they are looking to make it back to a 4-4. Now, Nuki, the positions are going to be given away thanks to the calls that Universe brings on Dokkaebi, so you are aware of the position on top of blue. The deployable shield giving that sound cue up as well. It's going to force you to need to take that piano control. Now, with the ability that you have, you are Zofia, you have those stuns, you have those impacts, so you can imagine that's what he's going to look to do. But with the ADSs that you have to deal with, not only that, but you've got those Wamai discs still. You need to sort of clear those if you have any hopes of taking control of this. Look at it. They've got 2 ADSs dedicated for Mez, and you can imagine that they have 1 and so many Wamais dedicated to help hold that top blue deployable shield. Now, JPK looking to get a flank going. Looks like he's dedicated himself into Dining though, which is smarter play. Possibly. Yeah, he's waiting for that potential pinch.
And potential it definitely could be. JPK known for these positionary plays, as we'll start to see Nuki sending through a lot of utility. Will not be able to clear off that shield, but will regardless be able to push that player back, as MML will now retake his position. But look at JPK. Look at the push that he is making. No one is expecting it coming behind. Loyalist's been able to rotate, expecting the push to come in. He will find JPK with a lot of damage, and the player will be dropped down, as ACOG will be able to confirm it. So now that they know the last few players are set on site, but with 50 seconds remaining, the push is going to need to come quick, and it's going to need to come hard. It all comes down to the way that MML plays this out.
Well, he's going to be looking to make a huge impact, but not as much as Lonely as he manages to find a pick onto Universe, but that's down to a 3-3. With only 30 seconds left, you haven't got any control. Most of you are still outside of the building. You are aware of the positions on top of Mez, and he's rotated himself back into Library. You can't jump through this single display, otherwise you're going to be picked up by top blue, so you need to take a different approach. Now, Razor, he's doing a lot of pressure for that. Anybody who's trying to jump in Mez, and the median down as well, as MML finds 2, and an explosion from Bandits. Just a kill feed on the blue side only.
And I think that just shows that they're bleeding too much time on the side of Panic. They're trying to get their setup, trying to get their cutoff and their areas really to push and play. And even so, we're starting to see a timeout coming in from Panic. Absolutely beautiful on the stats there. We love to see it for both these teams, but so far, with this setup and with the playstyles that we have seen coming from these two teams, the current MVPs or the current top scorers for this game is actually Universe and MML. Both of them have been playing exceptionally well in their positions, and I think just in the playstyle of Panic right now, even Bandits searches AFK. Gotta love it. A little bit of banter, but for Panic in their current setup and their current situation, it's just not working out. They're bleeding too much time. They're not clearing enough. They're not checking everything that they need to do angle wise, and they're leaving themselves open. Yes, Loyalist was able to spot someone on coming behind, but he's not able to confirm that kill, therefore losing a very significant member of their team, and it just they can't let that happen continuously. It's just not going to help them out in the long run.
I definitely got to agree with you, but they're going to see how they can chop things up on a tertiary side of Kitchen. Have we seen a Kitchen play yet? I don't think we have.
I think once on Panic's end.
And
once
it was a full
we saw
extension, yeah. I remember. I mean, honestly, I love seeing competitive teams, especially to this standing where the mechanical and the methodical plays are just so upbringing. This is the site for it. You have to fight for that top floor. The extensions go crazy. It's a very strat-heavy sided site, and I like watching teams face off on it. It's my favorite in this map, at least.
Well, quite commonly we have seen from a lot of teams that they normally like to go for a Sens Glaz play when it comes down to this site, and that might be the reason why Panic was so against picking this site so significantly. However, the drones are going to start coming through trying to gain a little bit of intel so they can start looking to make a sort of push here. They can start looking to push from library all the way over. They're going to attack the extension as quick as possible and start moving a few players off from the upstairs, and you can already see that with Nuki already making so much distance and pushing so far up as they'll get the drone. Well, drone, why am I saying drone? They'll get the camera removed off the board as Loyalist will start making his way downstairs. Universe will start opening up this castle breach, and as soon as he's opened it up, he'll take his time before making the next push. Wizard waiting for his teammates to be in position, as now the wall will attempt to be opened, and Loyalist will join his team upstairs trying to find these angles and find these players. But at the moment, Elijah, not a lot of ground really taken.
I mean, a good chunk has been forfeited, you know, without needing to be punished just yet. And this is where it'll all begin to collapse. You know, they're doing that main wall, which is ready to be impact trick. Hopefully he can do it successfully. He will. No, he won't. He'll remove it. Instead, he'll pop his own Go-Go charge. So that'll help Panic in the long run as well. So they're doing really good in terms of clearing up their checklist. Now, they've still got two people upstairs that they need to deal with so they can utilize the vertical play correctly and efficiently, and this is what ACOG's trying to cook. He's still got 2 grenades left for him to use as well, but Organiser with a nice little pick, he's going to clean up Lilith with a nice shot. Thanks to the 1.5, being able to utilize that is just huge. They're going to try to trade it back, but MML is going to find another pick onto ACOG, and it's just falling apart for Panic. They've got no room left. Nuki is relatively low HP as well. They've only got Wizard and Universe who are left on the floor, and it's a 5v3, 39 seconds left, and Wizard, he's remained upstairs. He's got the diffuser in his hand. He's trying to get a pick to see if he can even up those scores, but Bandits aren't giving you anything.
And look at how close Bandits are pushing. Nuki's going to be brought down by JPK. Wizard, you cannot get caught here. If you get caught, that is your round over. 18 seconds remaining on the board. A lot of damage is being put down. He can just get jumped on. That is diffuser down. Universe has so much to find, but a flawless round from Bandits says this is our map. We have the control. We want to run you guys through. We want to play this all out completely. Round 10, which is match point to come onto the board. Bandits ESC absolutely running through Panic right now, and you can just see that in their playstyle. They are not scared to start pushing up. They're not scared to start making their playstyles known. And I mean, how scary of a team is it to verse when you have no idea of how to actually prep themselves against this sort of playstyle? 6-3, 5v5, and we're going downstairs for possibly the final site.
You gotta hope that it's not. You're hoping that Panic, they have a lot up their sleeve to sort of take us the more distance, because this isn't the Panic that we've seen throughout the season. Usually, they're very tied together. You know, they're very fluid, methodical, very strong team, and not a force to be reckoned with. But at the moment, it looks like Bandits are just playing a really fun game with them. It's not taking the seriousness at all. I mean, they're having a lot of fun with them. They need to bring back and take it to a closer narrative. Now, it looks like they're doing for an extension, which we've seen that Bandits are really good at, because the more that they can bleed out time for Panic makes it harder for them to do their execute, especially when you've got so many things still left to clear. Now, they are holding this downstairs. They've got everything set up before, so you've got that advantage that you know exactly how they played it last time. Hopefully, Panic, you can be a little bit faster.
Well, with 2 minutes and 40 seconds, we better start seeing the playstyle from Panic in here. as we can start to see a bit of movement. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to match on the match point round. As we're starting to see the drones coming in, Universe will just start to clear. Looks like they're going for a top-down clearance and trying to move as many roamers off the board as possible before they possibly go downstairs and look for the same sort of push, same sort of play style. Wizard definitely jumping in onto that ace is going to be such a significant operator. Drone will come through as JPK. Everything is being opened up around you, mate. You better start moving and running away, as it looks like the cluster charge will also come down just to make sure that he is completely moved off that position. But Drift right now, he is the one member that's decided to stay behind. Wizard has made entry, as well as 2 other members from Panic will shortly choose to make their entry here, as Drift will actually start going upstairs. Looks like he's going to try to roam. Nope, back downstairs he will go. As we go to the last 90 seconds, Elijah, it's starting to get a little bit hairy.
Well, this is all of the pressure you can imagine that Panic are feeling. They don't want this to be the last round. They don't want this to be over, so they have to pull everything out that they can in terms of winning this. Now, they've got 1:15 left to do so, and I'm liking the adaptability that we've seen from them so far. Essentially, they are trading that time for survivability, utilizing util to clear them out instead of putting your man advantage at risk and potentially losing a life. Now, they've got that global utility, which you can see they're using to see if they can sort out any of these final players, but there's one in bar still that you completely miss, and he's going to make use of that and take a little bit of HP off of Universe. Now they're funneling to see if he can deal with him out. They'll do it successfully. Loyal to find the pick onto Drift, and that's the very first blood. Already swinging in your favor for Panic. It is a 5v4. 39 seconds left to do so, and we've seen this happen time and time again. Bandits, they've done a really good time at burning the time that Panic have left, that when it comes down to their execution, they've got no time to clear these angles, no time to clear the inside util, and it's just a complete bloodbath for both of these teams. And if they play trade by trade, maybe one team can suffice against the other, but you need to make something happen right now. 10 seconds left. You are trying to take that blue control. Loyalith will win it successfully and find the second kill for him in the round. MML to find a quick swing though, and he'll be able to find one for himself. But a flurry of kills from both of these teams are leading it to a bloodbath. Time needs to go down. The pistol out from Nuki, and he'll finish off Lonely. And yet again, this will not be our last round. We will be able to go to a further distance. Nuki is hyped. I'm hyped. Welcome back, Panic.
And what a round there was in the last few seconds. Nuki coming in there with an absolute grinding pistol play, and he was able to find the kill on to, I believe that was that Lonely or Eraser?
Lonely.
Lonely. I thought it was Lonely. My brain's getting kerfuffled there with how excited I am so far. I mean, 6-4. What a round to come back on for Panic. They still need to find 2 more, but it was a great showing from them. Now, one-on-one. Not exactly how you expect these games to sort of go in their last bit of preparation, especially with the cleanup that Bandits did there. They were able to immediately identify Universe was a problematic person, and he was going to a problematic position that they had last time. So they were able to adapt on that. However, in that regard and in their entire preparation, don't do it, JPK. Don't do it to them. Is there anyone there? I don't think there is, but it's not going to matter anyway. So, at the moment, Bandits, they're in control to a degree. They have the round differential, but Panic, they're just ready to start running this. They want to win this as much as possible, and they want to stay in this match for as long as they can.
They've got that capability. We've seen exactly how their methods are at the moment. It looks like that they use a lot of information in util to clear out these roamers that Bandits have put in front of them. And then when it comes to the last detrimental seconds of the round, that is where they shine. But that's something that they might need to work on, because eventually Bandits are going to read into that time is your problem. Time is always the enemy here. And look, it's already coming to effect. Nuki watching the hatch drop, making sure he can't drop into dining. Universe is here for a pinch as well. He'll hit the shot successfully, and already it's swinging in the favor of Panics, and this is what we like to see. They are waking up. It might be a little like halfway through the match, but any time is the best time.
And there you go, JPK able to find one straight onto Nuki. And I mean, Universe shot there, that was like CSGO. There's a small head, you just have to shoot it. And that's all that Universe could find. Now, multiple members from Bandits have decided to drop back. They've given up a lot of the northern side of the map. And now we can start to see Panic being in preparation and all set up for any sort of movement, any sort of plays on this blue stairs. As flashbangs will go through, Wizard will be chucking all of his out. It's all going to be used. Loyalist was trying to get into a position to chuck a nade, but it's not successful. There's still two Wamais down this hallway, and two members from Panic. They are really damaged up. Impact nade will go through. Loyal's going to pull back just a bit. He'll still take just a little bit of damage. 50 seconds remaining on the board. Panic may need to re-aggress from a different angle, as now the nade will come through from ACOG. He's going to send one more in. They need to remove this shield. It's all down to Loyalist's nade. They've got nothing more in the think tank, as now the peak's just going to come through. ACOG's just trying to find something, but with 25 seconds remaining, Elijah, there's not much he's not going to be able to find.
And you can see they're rotating. They're like, no, we can't take this. We need to make another gunfight happen, another engagement. JPK, he'll be able to find the first engagement in the later half of the round. Universe will find one for himself, but MML with a quick trade will take it down to a 3v2. Lonely will find one for himself. Universe to find the third in his round, as he will trade it back to a 2v1. No seconds left. Lonely will find the pick, and that'll be our very first win of the season for this BO3. Bandits taking the first map by storm. 7-4.
And absolutely well played to Bandits there. They 100% had the control that they were looking for. Unfortunately, JPK just destroying his camera there. But everyone else, they played exceptionally well, and you have to give that to them. There's no other way to really look at the way that both of these two teams have played this evening. I mean, Panic did so well in the rounds that they could. They brought it back, got very close, and I mean a 7-4 is the best that you can look at for this sort of map and this sort of round and this sort of game. It is the best that they could possibly find. Now on the opposite end, Bandits, they just had the control that they were looking for. They were ready for this map. It is one of their best maps, reason why they picked it themselves, and I'll be honest, the amount of fight and grit that Panic had for this map pick, that's a little bit scary to show how the way is going to go. But again, mental game will come into effect.
I mean, luckily enough, I mean, Bandits, they definitely got to be happy about that, but they'll be moving to a more comfortable map as we go to our next one just in a little while. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the next one. Already, they're putting on a really good pace. You can see that Bandits, they're really warm. Panic, they need a little bit of a room to wake up, and hopefully they can show that into our next map. Now, Tiaki, what are we thinking, like, the results? If you got to predict your next map, what are we thinking? You thinking Panic are going to take this one? Bandits will take us to a third? I'm hoping. You know, our predictions were Panic win 9-1, but already the first map has been lost to Panic.
Well, this is Villa. We're talking about a map that Panic absolutely thrive on, and that we haven't seen Bandits really been taken to too often, if any. I don't think I've ever seen Bandits actually play on Villa. So my predictions right now for this second map, I have a feeling that we're looking at possibly a 7-3 for the side of Panic. It depends on how they jump into the map, and it also depends on how Bandits play it. I mean, we haven't seen them on that map yet, so we have no clue about the playstyles that they could take, the way that they could operate that map, and the way that they could really strategize what they've set up and planned for it, especially with this new operator coming into play, which a lot of teams are picking up and are starting to use and trying to find the best way to really approach him. My best guess is 7-3 with the old season, and new season maybe, I don't know, 7-5 would be my guess, but both sides going to over to panic in that sort of setup.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see that come together, but we'll be heading to a 5-minute break before we do any of that. If you guys are excited, definitely feel free to stick around. I know Tiaki and I are both excited ready to move to our next map, so if you guys are, we'll see you guys in just a few seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Nova tournament in the playoffs, the upper bracket round, and this is Bandits versus Panic. We've already gotten to cast and see one of the matches, which was absolutely brilliant. Chalet was won in not that fashion. I'm not sure why that's 8-7-7-4. There we go.
There we go.
Fixed up. Nice and easy. But Elijah, what did you think about that first map?
Not what I thought. That's not the Panic that I'm used to seeing at all. You know, I was expecting a little bit of a closer game, but Bandits, the way that they're playing, they've really come here to show us that they're not here to mess around at all, and they are not a force to be reckoned with. So they'll be carrying that on to our next map, which is Villa. For those of you who are just joining us, we've seen a really strong performance from Bandits. They just beat Panic on Chalet, taking us over to Villa. Now, an interesting thing about Villa is that Panic have played this once before, Bandits have not. Now, what is really interesting about that specifically is Bandits, them not playing this at all, means that Panic are going into this match completely blind. You know, they haven't had any room to see how they play, but because VODs are available, Panic have played this before, Bandits have all the room to have a look at how they played, do this to counter strat them, they like to do this, you know, Nuki might like this position, blah blah blah. That gives you so much advantage in terms of information. So Bandits have the availability for not only that, but they also start out on their defense, which is comfortable for a map like Villa.
Well, especially with Bandits, they absolutely... We've seen how well they can play on their attacking half, and we've seen how well they can play on their defending half. So we expect, with the momentum that they've currently received from the last match, we expect them to start the ball rolling pretty quickly and start gaining as much control as possible. Now, on the opposite end, obviously, Panic, they're coming into a map that they have been very strong on. They know this map. They know how to play it. They know the way that they need to approach it. And we expect that from them. They know all of these teams that they've really end up going up against and how they can really approach their attacking halves. Most of the time from Panic, we do see an extension play. They will go straight up against the extension. They'll start playing around with them, start just running through them. But on the opposite end, sometimes they'll just end up slowly pushing direct and main. So it's very interesting. Now, obviously, first ban coming in, Knock. I'm going to say the same bans as I did last time. Knock, Dokkaebi, Solus, and Mirror. I don't know what you think, Elijah, but it will be pretty interesting to see.
Yes, there we go. I was trying to spit it out. Flores. Every single time, Flores, Villa. If you are on Villa, you need to get rid of that Flores, because the amount of times that we've seen teams that utilize these Kiba barriers, all of these Goyo packs as well, deployable shields, there are so many aspects that help you hold, specifically Master Bedroom in these cases, that completely switch up the defense. Keeper barriers are going to be removed though, so it'll make it a lot easier for the attackers. So a little bit of a counter ban there. If you're going to get rid of my Flores, I'm going to get rid of your keeper barrier. And we're waiting for the very last one. Now, if I got to guess, Mirror. Mirror has to follow here. Ooh, a Solus. You're right instead.
I'll take that back from you, my friend. Solus coming in as the ban in play. So we expect that sort of ban to come through. Such an amazing operator, and such a brilliant operator that has been brought to Rainbow Six Siege, that if not banned, can be such a big pest, especially with the ability to identify that diffuser through the floor, as well as a few other operator gadgets and many other operators as a general whole, because they can have phones on them or looking at their drones and all that sort of setup and stuff. So Solus, being as powerful as she is good to get removed and good to get taken out. Now, once again, we are seeing Venra coming back into play straight off the bat, and the observation blockers coming in as well by Drift. So it looks like a lot of these teams really want to test out what they can do, what the limits are on a lot of these operators. And we may see from Drift another setup for this observation blocker, but it doesn't look like it's going to come into play just yet. MML with the last bit of Dread coming in. this may... Oh, he's trying to figure out a good position to chuck it. Maybe he hasn't played with it too much yet, but look at Panic's spawn. They've all decided to spawn straight out onto Ruins, the southern side of the map, and I think what we're about to see is not going for the extension. This is going to be a direct push, and Bandits, sorry, have not set up for this.
You're gonna have to completely change up on how they are defending, and judging just by the util that Panic have brought, you know, they've got those Candelas, like running flashes on Dokkaebi, which isn't something that you normally see, so maybe they are looking to make a quick and direct entry. You've already got a person, he's downstairs, ready to push through the art section. Maybe you can push up those main studios, but look, already hard breach is going to be done. It's going to be impacted off thanks to the denial. So there's one set of X-Kairos being removed. Layeth on the lurk, trying to see if he can deal with the main stairs player. Universe is down as well to see if he can get some invert play working. But right now, it's just a very slow take from both of these teams, trying to trade out that time, playing cautious. Need to make that survivability available.
And I mean, right now you can see the playstyle from Panic. They're taking it slow. They're clearing their angles. They're not really playing too tough, as the nade will come through, and it will be a brilliant one. Lonely is going to be brought down, and Yuki can start making his way up as the flashbangs will be sent through. And immediately, was that? No, it was sent correctly, as now the Dread Mine will be removed off the board. Another set of flashbangs comes in, a minute remaining on the board as he's just going to push straight up, spots out the player close, will confirm the kill, needs to be careful of Lonely's position and may not spot him, but with a minute remaining, Drift's able to find the kill on Nuki, and Lord knows it, vertical play is everything in this map.
They finally managed to do some work with those X-Kairos, down to a 4-4 now. 50 seconds left on the clock, and Lonely is not looking too healthy, and that's your smoke play. He's going to distribute some of those canisters to see if he can slow down the take from Panic, but they aren't slowing down at all. They've got the side of Study. JPK with a quick swing out as nobody's looking. He's able to clear up ACOG and swing the round in his favor. Now the DMR to do a lot of packed punch to try to see if he can clear up JPK, but he's not having it at all. It is all crossfires left and right for Bandits as they are shutting down Panic and making sure they've got no room to breathe, but Universe is going to stop the breath of MML and clean it up to an even 3-3. Now again, time and time again for these teams, they struggle for time. Bandits really good at bleeding it for Panic, and they've got no room left to do anything. Universe will do all he can, as well as Layup to find 2 picks of his own. The SMG will come out shotgun as well, and Rift and Lonely together will clean up Panic and take themselves a first round win.
And that all comes down to Drift. If we didn't notice it there, Drift was able to get the knockdown onto one person, and then immediately Lonely comes through just to clean it up. SMG 11 and shotgun in hand available for the side of Bandits, and just able to clean up those last 2 players. But if Drift hadn't have gone 90 and been able to down that one member from Panic, Lonely would have been in way more trouble. And it's glad to see that he was able to immediately pick that up. Now, once again, observation blockers coming in. That is a huge piece of utility for this season. And we can see it being used in quite a lot of significant areas as well. Drift is just going to cut off a lot of intel being grabbed by any of these drones. And once again, I keep saying this, we're seeing the same sort of operators coming into play. MML jumping on Fenrir. And Bandits, they're just having control. They're just running at the moment. But still, Panic look like the ones that had the full control of this map. Just lucky kills coming in from Bandits as we get into this round number 2.
I like the usage of all of these new things that Ubisoft were kind enough to give us in this recent update. Those observation blockers, the Fenrir ability, both coming into play, and I like how they're using it. They've got it set up on top of concrete, and that'll block off any observation, any drone intel that they get to try to bring it through. Nuki, a little bit of a different play though. Will be the first to run into the blind fear that it has to offer. No picks to go out though. MML's chosen to stay a little bit more passive, buy his team a little bit more time, because that is exactly what Bandits are good at. We're going to try to get a little bit of live droning for some intel. See if they can work from kitchen above. A little bit of a less dynamic push. Not 2D, more of a 4D, 3D. But he's rotated off. You've wasted 2 Candelas. You've got some drones. All of that. No picks, no punishment.
Universe, very low on health there, taking a lot of damage as a minute and 40 seconds starts to tick onto the board. Drift is going to be in the perfect position. All of these members, besides Wizard, and I believe only Wizard, have been able to push up onto the second floor. This is not the site. Vertical play is a big thing in this map, but once again, JPK is just starting to make his rotation. What a scary lurker on the ward, and ACOG able to find the kill onto MML as MML is able to trade straight back onto ACOG. This is going to be a huge one, but Loyal's actually gone off of it. JPK as well, not able to find the angle. And 60 seconds still remain. Loyalist is going to start making his push up. JPK, there's no one there for him anymore. He can't really make that push as significant as he wanted it to be. And he may just choose to fall back. We'll spot out one. It's going to be Universe, but that's the man with very little HP. Still 3 to 4 with 40 seconds remaining. And Loyalist, he's been able to avoid the clutches.
That is the duality of siege timing there, just coming into effect. Didn't think there was going to be a person there, but he showed up out of nowhere. Now Loyalist will make his way up the Astro stairs. The Candelas with some support, but nothing to really go out just yet. JPK still on the lurk. Will be able to clean up Wizard as he hasn't been dealt with, and Drift is going to clean up Loyalist. Now that leaves it down for Nuki to clutch out a 1v4, and there's so much left to ask for when you've got all these positions just revealing themselves to you. It's too much to ask. Drift will find the final kill, and Bandits will get themselves a second round win.
And this is what I was talking about from Bandits. This is a playstyle we have not seen from them on this map. This is the less aggressive, take their time, wait for the pushes to come through in their sort of playstyle. And they are just absolutely showing up on this map, playing exceptionally well in their positions, and are just starting to roll through Panic. Yes, it's been close on a few rounds, but with the first round being over and the second round coming into play, they almost had a flawless on the second round. This is how scary Bandits can be when they start being able to just play on the sites that they know the control of. And you can see they're not having as much banter as they normally do. They're not talking, they're not trying to get into the mental. They are playing in a serious nature. They are really taking their abilities up a notch, and we can already start to see that with the way that they are playing. And I just don't know what to say at the moment, Elijah. As you mentioned, the duality of Siege, the people not being able to identify when is the best position, when's the best time to move off an angle, and Panic are they're just not in the game. They're not in for Villa.
They're trying to change up their playstyle just that little bit, trading out your gun for a shield, and maybe, hopefully, you gotta hope for the best that that'll add a lot of pressure for Bandits left to deal with. You are trading a gun after all. It looks like they're going for a really fast take. The Candela's popping through, completely blinding the sights. You're able to use it thanks to those lovely high-tech goggles. Nuki will find his own, but a C4 from Lonely will connect to 2 on the side of Panic. Lulith will do what he can to bring it back by shutting down Lonely, but JPK is not letting it slip. He'll find a pick. JPK finding 2 in the end, and leaving it down to a 1v2. Universe all alone, left to clutch aside. You've got all the time left to do it, but you've got no room, no control, no util. You've got the DMR, which packs a punch, but the positions and the communication from JPK and Drift, they're not going to let you slip up. They're going to make sure that they can close out this round, but there's still time to do it. Take your time. You're about to make the clutch of the series.
And excuse me, right now, in this position and in this playstyle, I mean, JPK and Drift the absolute gods that they are able to hold on to that site with the help of Lonely and his C4. I mean, it's just, there are so many problems with the way that Panic just played. You cannot play aggressive as you were looking against this team. They are ready for it. They are more mechanically, no offense to Panic, but they are more mechanically gifted than a lot of your players, and they know how to play these sites quite well. It is just a troublesome situation if you try to rush in. You need to make sure that you're working together as a team in those matter of seconds, but already we can see Universe. He's slowly made his way up into Memorial. They have a player watching. It is going to be Drift in position, and he'll just immediately find the kill. Bandits! What is going on?
All falling apart. Lonely finding that double piece onto the C4, connecting to two of the players on Panic. I believe one was the Monty, the other the Ying, completely shutting down what was the fundamental section of their push, the thing that was really keeping them together. It all really fell apart. It really was the bread and butter of their push, and Bandits, man, they're not giving Panic anything at the moment. This, what we thought, Panic, we thought that this was their map. We've seen them play really well in it before. Bandits showing up.
And this is a very scary attribute that we are seeing from Bandits. Holy. We don't want to see a complete 3-0 immediately off the bat on the best map of Panic. It is a very scary sight when it comes down to this team. I mean, I don't even know what to say when it comes to Panic losing this many rounds immediately off the bat on Villa. It is just, it's not them. It's not them, Elijah. It scares me.
I'm feeling a bit nervous for them as well. This isn't the Panic that we're used to. These top dogs, they are very, very good at what they do, and at the moment, it looks like Bandits are just getting the better of them. They are that second team place for what we've seen earlier in the season, so they aren't a force to be reckoned with, and look at that. Look at the observation blocker and how much it really changes up the defense. You thought you might be able to get some intel, but it's going to block it out completely. You've chosen to go for a different approach. Now, you can tell that Panic, they want to switch things up just a little bit, go for an Astro across. You still have to deal with a lot of these players who have dedicated themselves to slow you down. Now, there is one Fenrir coming into ability, not only giving out the intel but blinding you in the process. You still have to shoot it out. Hopefully you can find it, but you'll get the cam instead. They're going to try to get some picks going. The live burning going to go out to reveal his position, but a quick shot is going to take a little bit of HP off of him. He has remained on concrete, uncontested just of yet. JPK to find the very first pick. Bandits, they're just sweeping through Panic as Drift finds another. ACOG, he's going to find one for himself, but it's all falling apart for Panic at the moment as Bandits still have that man advantage.
Well, a minute and 38 seconds remaining on the board. Nuki's been able to push up a little bit into Statue, but MML will be picked up by, I believe that is, yes, that is Daddy, or Lonely, as they look to move up a little bit further in towards landing. One player playing close left is going to be the good old Organiser in that position as the flashbangs will go through. They'll spot him out, and that will be Organiser falling off as... What is that? Drift gets an amazing kill through the wall, all the way down from 90. So 2 members for the side of Panic remain, as 3 members from the side of Bandits remain for themselves. Still 1 nade available, so they can choose to try and take the time that they have and drone this player out. But it looks like they're going to be searching for the little feeties underneath the good old vault. Nade will go through, so they'll try to open it all up. And with 40 seconds remaining, they're really going to need to find something here to make their push.
Looks like they're dedicating themselves, but look, the canisters are getting distributed, and he's got still 1 left in his pockets. That's going to make it really hard for Panic. They are all on really high HP, so you might be able to sacrifice choking on some smoke just a little bit, but not too much, because it does have a punch to it. ACOG will be able to even things up back to a 2v2, and that'll swing things a little bit more in your favor. A nice swing. You will be able to get the kill to elude you. Drift, and out of nothing, Panic They wake up. They are back. Hello, we missed you. Let's get a show on.
How do Panic win that? In the preparation, in the positioning of every single team member, how does Panic end up coming through with a dub? Well, I don't know how that managed to happen, but they do. They find it, and that is absolutely huge. Wizard, the man, I am a survivor, he says, as he's able to take out Drift in his position. The man that's been doing so exceptionally well throughout this game. But unfortunately, he was just caught out at the last second. But time for the switch up, time to move back to the way that we were set up previously and in the position that we have been prior. It is now going to be a full setup upstairs, and that is... I'll be honest, Lonely, that is a beautiful frost mat placement. I love it when frost mats are just chucked out in random areas, hoping and praying to try and see if they can find someone and maybe snap a leg or two in their position. But once again, all of this utility is being set up to try and identify the exact position of where this push is coming from. But here we have Panic. They're saying, you know what? We've gone already for a direct push. Hasn't worked out. We went downstairs to try and gain as much info as possible. Didn't work out. But with the Universe starting it off there, this may work out.
I'm liking it. That's a really good first pick to have, but JPK, he's gonna answer that immediately by taking out Loyalith, and that was your sledge prayer as well. And look at the mechanical gift coming out from JPK, trying to find himself another pick, but Universe will find the second in his round and remove him and swing the advantage inside of Panic's favor. Now they're bringing out the shield again and going from a study across with a little bit of live droning as well to add a little bit of spice to it. Now they are making sure that they are clearing out all of these hard corners, because the last thing you want to do is be brought in from behind and get stuck by like Thorn, but nope. There's all been cleared. We're going for it, but across, they've got a really good segment, really good pathway, good avenue as well. Global utility providing a lot of information. Nothing to go out.
Yeah, and we can start to see a bit of movement coming in. Yuki's going to start making his way across the opposite side up onto Master, so now he can start being a threat from that angle. The opportunity here that there is for Panic is they have so many members in so many angles that they will be able to identify the exact position and look for any sort of movement. Lonely is going to take a little bit of damage, have to fall off of it quite quickly. ACOG can start to make his way in, but Eraser will find the first, and that is the biggest pick that he could have found. Two are going to be spotted out. ACOG's able to get naded from, well, get a nade in, and that will take out Lonely. But look at this. Immediately, Wizards had to rotate all the way around because the diffuser was dropped down by Eraser, so he can start making his push in on the opposite side of the map. He's looking to spot one. We'll see one out. Universe is making his way up. Astro is able to find the kill as Wizard will find his own, and Panic will come up with their second round. And now we're starting to see a very scary Panic.
This is what we needed. We needed Panic to just wake up a little bit and find their groove. Now, thankfully, they are able to wake up, give us that Panic that we so know and we so love. Them finally winning 2 rounds in a row, looking for a third. This might be what finally takes us the distance, a closer to match. Only 1 round separating Bandits and Panic. This is looking like it's going to be closer than what we thought.
Come on, Panic. Bring it back. I want to see a 1 on your scoreboard and bring it to a third map. It would make it absolutely brilliant. But right now, Bandits 3 rounds immediately at the beginning, seemingly struggling as they go into the next side of the map, and it looks like they're going straight back to this aviator hold. So they want to really kind of cut down on any sort of playstyle coming in from the side of Bandits. Bandits want to cut down on the side of Panic. They've seen the playstyles that they like to choose. They now know the best ways that they will approach it and how to really cut it off. They had the upper hand but missed their shots in the last time that they versed on this site. The question is, now that they have this confidence that they've already gotten, will they do it again? Or will Panic be able to find some sort of push potential?
You can imagine it's in the back of minds for Bandits at the moment that they have now lost their grip. Their footing has been lost, and Panic are making up a momentum, and now Bandits, they need to shut that down if they have any hopes in going forward into the next round. Maybe do a 4-2 split, but Panic, they have the motivation behind them to go for a 3-3 split. Now, we talked about it last map, that was the best case scenario, and it didn't work out well for Panic, so they can do it. Hopefully this time, then maybe they'll get closer to potentially taking us to a map 3 if they so win this one. Now MML dedicated again on the Fenrir to holding out this Astro. He's got the angle set up for him. You gotta go do a little bit of a jiggle, but you see his head, but you've decided to rotate off and burn as much time as you can, which again, this is how Bandits play. Panic are being able to read into that, and they are doing well for time for themselves as Astro control has been forfeited, bedroom as well, so they're able to push through this statuary and trophy and make their checklist do as they try to take this 90 hallway, maybe get that vault open again, which is what worked out for them as well last time. Drones, clones coming through to see if you can clear out 90 hall, but there is a player who's dedicated there. Your next objective is to clear him out. Loyalist being the first person to do so. 90 repel being engaged. A little bit of damage being done to Universe, but he's repelled off unpunished. He's being able to rotate back to study. 90 has been forfeited, and now you need to get your execute working.
Oh, 5 on 5, a minute remaining on the board, make it 55 seconds as Loyalist will look down this 90 hallway, try and see if he can spot someone out. But with 5 members, it's going to come pretty quick, Elijah. I don't think it's going to be coming slow at all as we're starting to see the final bits of setup. Wizard looking to see if he can spot someone out as he'll start to open up into... And there we go. The second one will come out. It will not be able to connect. So they will be able to open up into Vault as now MML will get a tell sign read of location as it's blocked out. That's going to be Loyalist down onto the main. 15 seconds remain on the board. The kills are going to start coming quick. MML's able to find one onto Loyalist, one onto Wizard as well. Down in the 90 hallway. ACOG will make the jump in, able to find one onto a Razor. Searches for a second, will be knocked down. Nuki's able to find the kill on to Loyal. Plant is attempted as MML will run in. Nuki's able to confirm it, but he's not able to get the plant down. JPK finds it onto Universe, but that is it. And Bandits, with the last few seconds, will secure the round.
And ending it on a 4-2 split. So yet again, denying Panic the comfortability of getting a reset for a 3-3 split. And they're going to have to get some rounds working. Hopefully they are more comfortable on their defensive half than Bandits were. So you can get some rounds for yourselves and take us to that full distance. Hopefully in overtime, which is what we want to see from both of these teams now. Starting off their very first defensive side by using this Aviator and that Study. Now, I like the play. Hopefully they can bring it out. That looks like a usual defensive half sort of setup. Using that Fenrir again, which is what we like to see. We like to see teams experimenting with these new abilities that has been given us thanks to Ubisoft. But they're also bringing out that denial. ACOG running Echo for those yokai drones, which we didn't get to see Bandits utilize at all.
10 seconds to insertion.
I mean, Echo is one of those operators that are just absolutely brilliant in its positioning and in its playstyle. It is such a pest if played correctly because players really can move around with these drones so easily and identify every single position that the enemy is operating in, and even worse, can actually annoy the absolute crap out of the enemies if they don't move from their position. What we're starting to see here from Bandits is a direct push. They're going to be going for some sort of vertical play underneath, then making their way up. One of their famous sort of play styles, or their quite often known play styles, is to do this, and so they'll use the drones effectively to try and find as much info as possible. However, with 2 minutes remaining on the board, they need to start making their way inside and finding some sort of vertical play. Nuki still playing directly above MML as he'll look to start chucking in a few drones, chucking in a few nades for a bit of knowledge. And with the 4 nades that they have, that's still 4 people or 4 bits of damage that they can look to find.
MML dedicating himself below to utilize these frag grenades and accompanied by the Lion to keep the side of Panic in their tracks without moving. Of course, you need to get red pinged if you do move. It's going to help him try to get these picks. Now, first grenade to go out unsuccessful. Second to do a huge chunk of HP to Nuki, but he's going to try to fight back in terms of damage and do a heap ton to MML, leaving both of the players as a result to just about 20 HP. Both remaining unscathed though. MML, he'll be able to finally clear up Nuki, remove him from play. Hopefully he put down as many my disc as possible so he can have a really good impact in the round. Now look at Universe, he is on the flank, already making himself inside of living room. Organiser being none the wiser, he's able to clear up the kill, try to go for the second, but immediately dashes away as you are an even 4-4. JPK is looking for the hunt and he'll hit it though successfully, and he's finally cleared out all of those roamers. Wizard on their back foot now as he's pushed back into the book's hallway trying to clear up those clones. JPK is on the follow-up, hopefully you are aware. JPK winning out his engagement and taking Bandits to a 4-2 split. Immediate refrag from ACOG though will make it even harder as Loyalist with a nice shot onto Drift will even things up here. 2v2. You've got all the holes open, the avenues ready for you to push through the side thanks to the X-Kairos, the Aces, sorry, that you've opened it up. But immediate shot will remove MML. I don't know where that came from, but immediate reset. It doesn't work anymore. Some team damage to be done. MML dedicating himself though to study to see if he can find a pick for himself. 16 seconds left as Ace dedicates some of his charges onto the book's hallway, get himself a little bit of a line of sight in as the plant goes down. 7 seconds left. You need to deny it. Echo is still available. He denies it the first time. He needs to go for the second. Loyal of his stuff, and he has to stick it. ACOG winning the round again. Echo, the denial it brings, the pressure. Welcome back, Panic. We missed you. Let's take it further. Round 8, baby.
A 4-3 with the Echo coming in as the clutch master god. They were able to find the kill thanks to Loyalist being able to pick up one on to MML. I believe that was as Drift was trying to go for the... Lonely was trying to go for the plan. I'm confused. It's all jubbling in my mind because they're all too good. They're all too amazing. They're all playing so well. And it looks like we will be going straight to a kitchen for Panic. They're not going to go upstairs. They want to play with the timer that they've got, but it's immediately found out from Bandits. So now they can start making the switch ups, changes an operator that they need to make, and we're going to see it coming in from JPK. He's going to be jumping onto the Zofia. In terms of the way that both of these two teams are playing right now, we're not going to be seeing that Echo coming back out. It was good on the first map, not so good when you're coming down to kitchen, but surprisingly, no pulse is going to be brought from the side of Panic, such an influential operator for downstairs, as it looks like ACOG, he's going to be jumping on to something completely different. He's going to be jumping on to the Ella. It's not often that you see this operator being brought into play because of how insignificant, in my opinion, a lot of the utility that she brings is. However, obviously, having that shield now and Smoke losing his shield this patch, it does mean that she can absolutely be of massive significance when it comes down to shield placement. But with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Bandits, some of them look like they're going for an extension, some of them look like they're going for direct.
It looks like a bit of a split rush play. Lonely already making his way by opening up the pantry. MML, he's accompanied by yet another player to push from piano across. Hopefully he can get control of this memorial. Looks like they're playing a little bit of a cat and mouse game, though. He is droned out. The position's going to be revealed inside of library. He's going to be forced to peel off, though, but he's going to take the engagement head on. No fear in him at all as he just waits for the players to push into his kill holes. You can see the stuns coming through from both sides of the teams, but no kills to go out. Fire rate to go through though, and the sisters will battle it out each other, but Zofia will win it this time, and Drift there for the accompanied to try to open up some of that soft destruction to see if he can find yet another kill. But a 5v4 it is now, as one of the members of Panic have dropped.
Well, Panic with a foot back on the board, unfortunately, to start it off. Make it to Universe, trying to see if he can make some sort of play out, as straight off the bat, Bandits will have the two-step advantage. Two members being down for Panic is not the way that you want to approach it. 5-3 in its current situation. As we start to see MML, he's going to make his way downstairs, maybe push in towards the good old... I've completely forgot what it's called, excuse me, towards kitchen. However, Loyal will be able to find one. It looks like he's starting to turn up this game. Will almost be spotted out, so he'll fall back a little bit and play from the upstairs angle. May not even choose to do so. Nuki is able to find a huge kill. That's a razor from up above. Death from above is what Nuki likes to say, as Wizard will be dropped down. Now the site can be held out. One player is going to make the peak. It will be Lonely to find two, and MML will just clean it up, as that is another round to Bandits, edging ever closer to this match point.
Or Panic making the smarter choice by requesting their timeout in this half, as it is 5-3 deficit for Panic. They need 2 rounds to win in order to get themselves back up. Hopefully they can take us that distance, because you don't want to see Panic lose this. The last thing that we need is seeing Panic down into the loser bracket, the lower bracket. That's not what we want.
They need to keep pushing. They need to find the rounds. They need to play a little bit differently. Something is not working well with the entirety of the team. They've been working well throughout the start of the season, but coming in towards the end of this season, maybe the confidence has just been lost. The play style has just been lost, and it really hasn't been pushing up too much or too significantly, as the timer will come to an end. And now we will need to see, this is a momentum shift. This is what, I mean, there wasn't really any momentum for either of the two teams significantly. Panic just won the round before last, and then Bandits won the round there. So there's no real momentum shift. Maybe a mentality shift is what we're looking to see coming out from these two teams. But immediately Panic, they will decide to take this upstairs, and they will need to find at least this round, preferably. If they cannot find this round for this site, Panic are going to be in a lot of trouble. They will have not had the ability to cut down the exact way that Bandits will make their push, and they will not have the ability to completely slow down the way that Bandits have been approaching, as well as Bandits will be on match point. So it all depends on the way that Panic can approach this site, and if they cannot gain control of this, that is it for them, in my opinion. And unfortunately, I would love to see a map 3, Elijah, but it's looking dull. It's looking unlikely.
It's not looking like that's the way it's going to swing at the moment. I still have high hopes for Panic that they can bring it back, especially after utilizing their timeout. Now, if they have a little bit of time to sit and talk with their coach, maybe they can pull it back, do a little bit of a mental reset. And I'm seeing that come into play just here already. They're utilizing Castle this time. Instead of having the Solus, because it was banned earlier, they've switched that out to deny that intel by that Mozzie. They're using those new operators that Ubisoft were kind enough to give us, and this time trap operators, which time and time again, Bandits, with the mechanical skill that they have, that they rely themselves on, they don't usually check out these doorways. So hopefully they maybe make a little bit of a mistake for Panic that they would hope, and they run into a cap can, lose a huge chunk of HP, maybe even a life altogether. But already, speaking of lives being taken, Drift going to be taking out Layoth. Now that was already an angle that we've seen happen before. Last time Layoth was a person who won it, but this time the narrative has switched. Another kill to go out by both the sides of the teams, and it's just falling apart already. A 4v3. Panic need to get one player back if they want that deficit to sit right. But Bandits looking ever so strong. That's not looking likely.
And Panic, they are in such a delve of depths. 3 members are going to be downstairs on the first floor, as Nuki will be upstairs on the second floor. Wizard looking to see if he can try and spot someone out. It's not going to be significantly enough yet of their movement, so he will not be making any sort of play, any sort of move there. And it looks like a lot of ACOG's utility has really not done too much of an impact. Maybe it's all set upstairs for the site control. Maybe he's waiting for their push to really be made. NitroCell will go out trying to see if he can get some sort of vertical play as the pings will come through, but it's not going to be significant enough yet. MML will start nading on to this Astro back, but Drift, he's doing so much work. He's able to find one. ACOG will trade it back, however, which is pretty huge. If they can hold out towards this Astro side, they will be in a very good position to slow down any sort of push and maybe find a few picks. Yuki, he's going to get a little bit aggressive and it's going to catch him. MML's able to find the kill. It's down to 1, all down to ACOG. Lonely's going to start to push in. ACOG's able to find 1. And who do you wish to have in a clutch? It is definitely this man.
He's going to try to look for the denial. The plant going down. MML's looking to stick it. You need to take this 1v1, but it was down successfully. 42 seconds left and ticking. Red ping's going out, sharing the intel all across the board, but you aren't in the position to take any fights. A quick spray through the wall. ACOG will connect, but MML, he'll find the head.
A match point round, Elijah. I don't think we ever thought that it would end or get this close this quickly to a series match point, but it has. And what is going on? What has changed? What is different here? This isn't the Panic that we know.
I don't know what to say, man. This is not what I'm used to. My predictions are wrong. I'm hurt. You know, this is attacking me personally. Bandits just completely running through the boys at Panic. They can't seem to find their hold on the map, and you've already reached your match point. Now, Bandits looking to secure this next round. You can imagine that they've got all of the hype behind him, the confidence, the team morale boost is just insane for them. So hopefully Panic, they haven't let all of these losses get to them too much. You need that mental reset. You need that positiveness to go into the next round, because every round is a new one and it's always winnable no matter what deficit that you're in. We've seen time and time again in this season specifically from all kinds of teams, no matter how high or low they sit on the bracket, that there is always room to win up. No matter if you're 7 rounds down, you know, you could do a 7-0 comeback and you never really know. You just can't put anything out of the way. It's Rainbow Six Siege. A clutch is always doable. Never give up until the round is done.
That's a lot of high hopes there, I'll be honest with you, Elijah, and I really hope that you're completely right with everything that you've just mentioned, because I really want to see this game go into a game 3. Both of these teams are exceptional players and have exceptional teamwork when it comes down to it, but man, it just, at the moment, Bandits are looking in well control and well preparation. Once again, we're seeing this downstairs sort of take from them. They'll be trying to take control nice and easily of this downstairs sector and try and see if they can nade from below. Villa, known as that map which you can do a lot of nades from below, and so they'll try and live drone a lot of information out as much as possible, and that's why Organiser and MML are both set underneath nades in position. And look at that! That is beautiful! As Nuki will be removed off the board in a placement, in a position where he's just gonna get caught. And unfortunately, this is not looking too good, Elijah. 1 minute and 30 seconds remain.
That's one thing to take away from Bandits, is they really love these grenade plays. Getting that intel, they always accompany it by a set of global utility and some IQ as well. So You know, that's something to take into account. If you're going up against Bandits, these grenades, these soft floors, you need to be a little bit wary of, and it's just coming into effect time and time again, and it's being proven a lot for Panic to deal with, as they are already in a 5-3 split deficit on a match point as well. It's looking like this is already Bandits' round win, as there is only 50 seconds left for them to do something, and there are still 5 members on the side of Bandits. They're trying to get the study control. Ace charges to be put down, but Universe to find the shot onto Lonely, and that's your hard breacher removed. Now, he did put down his util, hopefully. Yep, by the sounds of that, the sound cue giving it away that he was able to open up that hard destruction successfully, and that'll create a pathway. JPK is looking to go up the study stairs, a C4 Velcro rip, Drift to be able to find a pick onto Wizard to take it down to a 4-2 split, but yet Drift finding another one onto Universe, and it leaves it all down to a 4v1, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Bandits take their win on both maps, a 2-0 by I'm lost for words. Panic, no. Bandits, a force not to be reconciled with.
Well, that is the good old Bandits coming back in to show up these two teams, show how they need to be playing when they're going up against each other, and really just showing how it needs to be done. And that is just so incredibly well played from them. And man, as much as we wanted to see Panic come through and be the winners for today, I think it's just proven there that that was completely Bandits controlled. And I mean, 7-3, 7-4, that's the scoreline that all will know and all will see, and that does, as a result, put Panic down into the lower bracket. Now, quick MVPs in terms of the last two games. For game number 1 was MML and Universe. So MML on the side of Bandits having 15 kills, and Universe on the side of Panic having 17 kills, which is absolutely incredible. In game number 2, the members to watch out for, and the members that played extremely well on the side of Panic, was ACOG with 11 kills, and on the side of Bandits was JPK and Drift, 12 and 11 for them too. But I mean, what can you say, Elijah? These two teams exceptionally played. Both teams played exceptionally well, but it wasn't as close as we thought it would be.
Yeah, the scores indicate a 2-0, but you know, these rounds were pretty close. It always came down to those last few seconds, especially in Chalet as well. Time and time again, Bandits just bled the time for Panic, and in the end, obviously, it was just too much for them to deal with. So they'll take that 2-0, and luckily enough, we have something very special for you guys. We have the updated scoreboard, the leaderboard for you guys, the standings that we can have a look at and see what has changed thanks to today's game. So we'll have that a look in just a little while. But first, we will put a voice behind the names of these players. Now, we've got a little bit of interview for you guys. Let's drag him across. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the man himself.
And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to Jacko. How are you going, my man? How's it going? What is going on for yourself today?
Just, kicking back, this, that, you know what I mean? Just, chilling.
Keeping
Nothing
it
much,
all
really.
Back. Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun. Did you feel any pressure from that at all? It looked like you guys were really, really strong on both maps as well. Usually it would come down to those last few seconds. Now, from my eyes specifically, you guys are really good at bleeding out the time and taking those last few seconds to make sure that they've got no room left. You guys are really good at that very last few seconds. Is that something that you guys are practicing for? Have you guys done any practice at all? Are you guys just that good?
We haven't scrimmed since Chef Jeff went to America. So we've just been playing Among Us, really. If Among Us helps us, it helps us. But Panic, they just panicked today. Like, they were just shaking. You could tell. Like, they were talking all that when we beat them, saying we didn't come first and all that, but we beat them today, so...
Well, it just shows that you guys have the ability that everyone was kind of quiet on you guys for a little bit of time. You had a few unfortunate losses at the beginning in the normal season, but then you obviously came out and you showed that you have the ability to actually go up against these top teams and roll over these top teams when it becomes necessary. Now, a lot of those rounds today were a little bit close. You did get a few rounds just barely. What do you think went wrong during those sorts of rounds? Do you think you just gave them a bit too much breathing room, or maybe just played a bit relaxed, too relaxed on those rounds?
It can come down to just being too relaxed. When I noticed today, we just wasted too much time doing certain things, like losing the round to that Echo on bar. But at the end of the day, we know what we need to work on. We just spoke about it then, and we're gonna sit back in like next half an hour, VOD review, see what's going on, what we need to work on, and go back into the next game. I don't know who we're versing, but and just go into that and do the same thing. Try and win 2-0. Yeah.
Well, your next game is going to be up against Kill Squad, which will be pretty interesting, especially coming off their 2-0 victory against Naughty Sausages. Now, you versed Kill Squad before. I believe you won that match, if I'm correct.
No,
maybe not. Maybe
no,
not.
It will be a good game. I'll give them the respect. It'll be a good game. Like, we're mates with those guys. So I think it'll be a good game. It'll be an interesting game, but I still think we'll take it 2-0.
You still think we'll take them 2-0?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, we love the confidence there. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that game. Everything out of the winners bracket is always good to see. You chucking Panic down to the lower bracket as well. I bet you guys are happy about that, especially from what I've seen from the Twitter of the organization as well, making sure that was tweeted out by them. So before we head off though, do you have anything else to say before we let you go?
I've got a few shout outs, if that's all right. I'd like to give a shout out to Officer Ling for obviously picking us 2-0, and I'm not too sure why you guys didn't do that either, but it is what it is. Shout out Salvo, shout out Chef Jeff, shout out Bandits, really looking after us at the moment, sorting a few things out for us, and shout out Nuki, just kicking back.
Thank you very much, Jacko.
I'm sure he's still stuttering now, but shaking a bit, but it is what it is.
Awesome, Jacko. Thank you very much for having us again. Love to see you again soon.
Oh, absolutely brilliant there from Jacko. That was the man, the myth, the legend that we love to see, obviously. Panic coming in. We're not able to score a map today, however. 2 wins on the side of Bandits, and if we quickly take a little bit of a look at the playoffs bracket now, we'll see that Kill Squad with their 2-0 victory yesterday, Bandits with their 2-0 victory today. I almost said yesterday. One more game for the lower bracket needs to be decided. It is Trident versus Nutty, as that means that Naughty Sausages have been knocked down into the lower bracket. Bandits will knock Panic down into the lower bracket, and whoever loses the semi-finals of the winners bracket will be knocked down into the semi-finals of the losers bracket. But it will be Kill Squad up against Bandits on the 12th of June at 7 p.m. So make sure you go and check that out. And if you support any other teams, including Panic this evening, they will be playing on the 11th of June at 7 p.m. So go and check that out. It's going to be absolutely insane.
I mean, look at the results so far. I mean, I'm liking this. I'm definitely excited for this Trident Nutty game and this lower bracket as well. We all know how most of us here, we love Trident. We really like it. So that'll be on Thursday. Definitely feel free to stick around for that. I'm pretty sure I will be casting that one, which, oh man, I've been thinking about that all week, man. Trident, they're my favorite teams. I'm sure it's a lot of your favorite teams as well for the viewers who are watching. So, I mean, how are we feeling about Trident versus Nutty?
Well, I'm not into my predictions just yet, but with the way that Trident have been playing so far, I'm going to kind of push towards them more so in terms of Nutty. I mean, Nutty's been playing well throughout the season, but the come up from Trident has just been huge. So I'm going to say Trident. I'm going to say Trident on this one.
I'm liking it, so we'll have to wait and see then. So definitely feel free to come back and stick around for that. But I mean, what a day of events that we've had for Siege. Not what most of us expected at all. If we even just go back and have a look at our predictions, I believe that only 2 of us were right. It wasn't even you and I, Tiaki. We guessed Panic that entire time. We were like, yeah, look, Panic, they're going to have a 2-1. It's going to be easy as hell. But no, look, you and I 2-1. KJ going to guess Bandits as well on a 2-1. He's wrong, but he is right at the same time. Now, Ling being the only person guessing correctly on a 2-0 for Bandits, and Kratos on the same wavelength as us. He got it wrong as well, unfortunately. But big ups for Bandits. Congratulations to you guys on your 2-0 victory. Definitely worth celebrating. And GG's to Panic. Not to take it away from you. You guys played it exceptionally well, but you just couldn't keep up with Bandits' playstyle.
Well, it means a few more maps for you guys to play and a few more games to push through for yourselves to get into the finals, and a lot of teams that you'll have to pass through. But it does mean that obviously now Kill Squad will go up against Bandits, and that will be the game to watch. One of those teams will be knocked down into the lower bracket, and if Panic can beat whoever their team is in the upcoming week, then we will obviously be able to see them again, maybe back on this stage, maybe back up and running in the winners bracket, or in the finals, in the total finals overall. We wish them the best of luck in their current position, but for now, Elijah, I think that's us done. I think we're about finished for this evening.
We're about done, so it'll all be until next time, so I can't wait to see you guys then. But Tiaki, do you have anything to say before we head off?
Well, final thing to say, next game will be on Thursday. We hope to see you guys there. I believe that will be you and KJ casting that one there, Elijah. So it will be a beautiful game to see. Or is it me and KJ? Am I wrong? I might be wrong.
I think it's me and KJ because it's Trident. I asked for them specifically. That's something for you to note, Trident. I mean, we love you so much. KJ and I, we love that team. So we asked specifically to cast you guys. So if you guys are keen to see KJ and I cast a very competitive game of Siege against Trident, looking to get their 7th victory in a row without dropping one so far, definitely come back for that. But until then, we'll have to see you guys then.
And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful night, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.